York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time Show. Here, give you that Knicks talk just the nick of time. And it's time to talk about a win versus the Wizards, a win that we desperately needed after losing 2 games in a row to some bottom tier, below average teams. So the Knicks pull out a win, even though we got scared, 122 to 103. OG Anunoby showed up and gave you 23 points, 3 assists. Josh Hart gives you 9 points and 12 rebounds with 2 assists. Karl Anthony Towns gives you 31 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist. Mikal Bridges was super aggressive, giving you 27 points, 6 rebounds, probably the most aggressive I've seen him in a very long time. Cam Payne got the start. There was no Deuce McBride, who was nursing a groin injury. So Cam gave you 13 points and 7 assists. And Tyler Kolek played some minutes off the bench. He played 18 minutes, the most minutes I've seen him play in an important game. Actually came into the first half and gave us 4 points and 8 assists with 3 steals. The Knicks' magic number has been 30 assists for wins. We got 29. We out-rebounded the Wizards 59 to 48. But the bench points is probably the difference for us. It's kind of been a theme for this year. The Wizards bench outscored the Knicks bench 44 to 19. And we're going to talk about it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was heart attack Knicks game tonight. I thought this game was over in the first quarter, Lee. I'm not going to hold you. But before we talk about it, I'm going to introduce you to my guy, the Latin assassin, ESPN contributor, Lee Escobedo. What's going on, Lee?
What's going on, brother? Today, as we were discussing before the show started, I started this season off saying that I wasn't going to let the regular season dictate my joy or my pain. However, this was the first game that fire Tibbs sign was staring at me like the Green Goblin mask. I really, really had to think about this coach and his ability to win us a championship, his ability to adjust, his ability to not blow leads. Thank goodness that OG Anunoby got super aggressive and put the team on back in the fourth, because this was looking to be what I think a lot of people felt like we coming into this as you can't lose.
Yeah, must win.
This would have been the ugliest, most embarrassing loss in quite some time. Historically, would have been one of the biggest comebacks in NBA history, and it was looking that way when the Wizards whittled down, I believe it was a 32 or 33 point lead to a 4-point game.
33. Mm-hmm.
I was looking over at that imaginary sign, and I was like, man, I heard the darkness talking to me. Like, come back to us, brethren. And I rejected it. Thankfully, we pulled out the win.
Yeah, thankfully we did pull out the win. I'm not gonna hold you, Lee. If the coach decided that he might try to actually win the game instead of tank, I'm not sure if we'd pull it off. Because I feel like if a coach was actually trying to really win, Marcus Smart ran out of steam a little bit. He was in the game for a while. I feel like a coach would have checked Marcus Smart back into the game at some point after he got a breather, if he's trying to win. And also feel like a coach would have subbed out Sarr, because Sarr was getting abused by Karl Anthony Towns. He would have subbed him out and put was it Holmes? Who was given?
They do have Holmes, yes.
Yeah, they would have. Oh, was it Jones? I forgot who it was that was giving Karl Anthony Towns a little bit more of a hard time battling for boards. But if the coach is really trying to win, he would have took SARS back out. But he's like, oh, so we're gonna learn. We're gonna teach these guys. Like so I'm glad we got the win. Yes. If the coach is really coaching to win, it might have been more of a dogfight. It might have been more. Now, granted, too, our starters are out too. So we didn't have OG back in with Mikal, with Cat. And Cam Payne. I mean, the team that kind of blew the lead was the Cat. It was Cat, Mitch, Hart. You already know the Hart Mitch combo is always a really fishy. You know what I mean? It's always it's not the best. When you have the Hart and Mitch. It was Hart, Mitch, Cat, Kolick, and I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Mostly Shamit, and then
Shamit.
the end Bridges.
Right. And Shamit. That was the squad that was really getting beat.
Yes.
And we kind of put the game away once the starters got back in.
I'm going to take you a step further, Jay. I think if this was any other team in the NBA but the Washington Wizards, last podcast projecting the Wizards, I said they had probably the worst collective amount of talent in the NBA. Any other team, I think the Knicks probably would have lost tonight because of the momentum and just how shook those five guys, Bridges at that time toward the end, looked on the court. They really looked, as Clyde said, discombobulated.
Yeah.
They weren't even running plays. It was a lot of one-on-one through OG and Cat. Cat was kind of like forcing the issue a little bit. Thank goodness OG really put the team on his back, and they have very good perimeter defenders. Bub Carrington, for as young as he is, very solid. Bilal Coulibaly, very solid perimeter defender. Marcus Smart, very solid perimeter defender. So I think they're finally starting to carve out an identity on the defensive end. Their offense is trash.
Yeah.
But on the defensive end, at least on the perimeter, not the post yet, but guarding the point of attack and guarding shooters, they're pretty damn good. OG Anunoby, man, he was just getting to the hole, absolutely refusing to be denied, using his body and using angles. He's a really smart finisher, and that's probably been one of the top three things I've seen him evolve in since he got a higher usage role on the Knicks than in Toronto. He's become every season, or at least every 6 months, better and better at finishing around the rim. I've really liked him as a downhill option, way more successful than RJ Barrett. No slander to RJ, but this is something that he's really gotten good at. And then the defense on the other end, forcing turnovers and playing the passing lanes to stop their momentum and really become kind of the catch-all 22 on the defensive end. He really saved this game for us because Tom Thibodeau did not. I think he went with that lineup that was getting cooked way too long, trying to let them figure it out themselves and calling some timeout to try to regroup. But really, it needed to be a lineup change. And that's not Cole's fault. It's what you just pointed out. The combination of Hart and Mitch really clogs the offense. And if Shamit's shot is not falling, it's even worse. It's even worse. And also, you don't get the matchup advantages of Cat at the four like you do at the five offensively. It's a little less space. He's having to share that area with Mitch, and he's also seeing double teams driving to the paint, opposed to some other shooter at the four like OG drawing that defender out to the perimeter. So it was a really bad rotation, and I was yelling at the TV like, it's not the time to have Cat and Mitch share the floor is not what Cole at the point.
Yeah, I agree with you because even like Kolick, he's kind of setting the table most of his game. When it got to that quarter, he got to the hole, and he got an and one, was a beautiful take from Kolick. But when that and one, if you see the and one, there was three people on him. Like the paint was clogged up. So I definitely agree. We gotta prioritize shooting, prioritize spacing, and be very careful who we pair Josh Hart with. Because Tibbs in his mind is thinking rebounds. Oh, we have Cat with Mitch and Josh Hart, we get rebounds. But like, man, we have to think offense, defense, and not just rebounds. I think that's the way that he kind of saw the game today.
I want to give a huge shout out to an absolute legend.
Oh, I already saw it. I was just trying to wait for it.
Chuck D. Chuck D's been a huge supporter of Jay Ellis and the Good Time Show and Ryan for a very long time. I'm honored to actually be on the show while he contributes a 99 super chat. You mind if I read it, Jay?
Yo, go ahead, man. Do your thing.
All right, I never read one before. Tyler, the creator, saw McHale. Makes too much sense when JB sits because Bridges doesn't get bold on his own enough. Tyler fed him and spud the floor and rock. Salute to both of you. Totally agree. The Colwood Bridges connection. I guess that's happening in practice a lot. Maybe they're sharing they're playing that 5-man team, red team, blue team. I'm not sure, but the connection was certainly there, and that looks to be something that could be implemented next season. I hope that Colwood takes those Cameron Payne minutes. Definitely love to see Chuck D, an absolute legend, in the chat. Much love, brother.
Yeah, I mean, let's get to that since he's here and we actually won the game. I know we were frustrated. So usually when we win, I usually start with the good. But I think this is probably the first post game where I didn't really start that way in a long time anyway. But there were some good to talk about. Like Chuck D said, like Lee was saying in the group chat before the game, the synergy between Mikal Bridges and Kolek seems to be instantaneous. He fed him a few times. It was a beautiful kind of pick and roll. I don't even know if you would call it a roll because it was a screen and then Kolek passed it between two defenders to Bridges, kind of pulled up for a mid range. I felt like that was a really nice pass. Then of course, the cross court pass that got Bridges an open three was really good. We always complain about how Bridges isn't just aggressive enough. So if we have somebody who's kind of just force feeding him the ball in his spots, it probably could help his aggressiveness. So something to think about in the future when we think about the Knicks team is like, how does Kolek mix with Bridges? Is he able to feed him? And even Mitch. Like I'm curious to see how that mix can go along, because the way Kolek can kind of sell passes with his eyes, stop and start. I feel like with more reps with Mitch, he could get some lobs from Mitch and get him some easy baskets too as well. So I'm not sure what the future holds for the backup point guard position as far as campaign and Kolek, but I hope Kolek is here being the guy off the bench for the future as soon as next season.
Great point. Completely co-sign the idea of probably not bringing Payne back, because Tibbs, when you give him his toys, he's going to play with them. Pause. And I think the only way to get Tyler Kolek real minutes at point is to not have campaign on the roster, to where Leon forces his hand, as we've seen him do before when he had to remove Burts from the roster so that Quickly would play. I think the same thing needs to happen next season for Kolek to finally get his role within this rotation off the bench, playing alongside Deuce. Think about that. Think about that tandem of Deuce and Tyler Kolek and what that to produce. Kolek really seems to be someone who plays well with ballers. It reminds me of like a dollar store version for now of Steve Nash. Nash was someone, if you put him out there with some athletes, guys who could gun, guys who could run the floor, guys who were really smart and dominant in their routes, he would find them on a lob or find them in the corner. He just had the eyes in his back of the head and the intuition with how these guys played and the way they play when in transition. I see the same thing with Tyler Kolek. I actually think Tyler Kolek, I think he has some star potential. Of all the rookies we have, he's one that has the highest ratio of boom to bust. Bust would be the defense never comes around, and he continues to be in cone. There were some nights tonight where I thought one-on-one he kept this man in front of him, but when he was in that dig action, guard helping on the pick and roll, it was ball watching. The guys were just coming to the lane and laying up, and he was just staring at them. No hands up, no putting his body in front of him. Those moments happened. And granted, I think that's a learning curve. Under Tom Thibodeau, I think that he will get his bearings playing this Deuce, playing this Brunson. But the thing that I think really leads the advantage of him with Mikal is that Mikal can score anywhere. He's not limited to a certain type of route. He's not limited only as a lob. He's not limited only to be in the corners. Mikal can do everything, and he moves so fluidly off ball. It gives Kolek many weapons and many opportunities within a singular set to find Mikal for a scoring opportunity. That's going to do a lot of good for him, and I think that will be mimicked when you see OG pairing more with Kolek as well. I think there's going to be some similarities there. And then Cat at the 5, that defensively it's an issue, but I think offensively it could be really great in these like last second attempt opportunities. Maybe like to close the game one night, Brunson, Kolek out there together. Brunson's off ball, but it's Brunson's on ball dominance I think hurts right now on the professional level, not collegiate, professional. It's hurting that spacing and identity between him and Bridges. Even though the continuity and chemistry is there from the Villanova days, naturally Kolek is trying to get rid of the ball, not hold on to it, and that definitely is a plus for Bridges.
I feel you. Like I'll keep saying this. There was a time when everybody was healthy for long stretches of time. We were getting 30 assists a game like clockwork. I said this before. I felt like once OG got injured, it messed up the chemistry of the team because Precious was in the lineup. Precious doesn't like to shoot.
Ooh.
JB starts reverting to I have to save us basketball, and the ball wasn't moving as much. And then once OG got back, we never got back that same synergy with the ball movement. So I feel like it can happen again. That's why I hope that JB actually comes back a little bit earlier So we can regain that, especially the way how aggressive OG and McCall has been playing recently. Like I want to keep some remnants of that when Jalen Brunson gets back, and hopefully we can find that synergy again where Jalen Brunson can be the go-to scorer, pass the ball in in the right places, and OG and McCall can just take some pressure off of JB so that he doesn't have to play make and get the bucket every single time.
I understand a lot of the arguments against Colwitt playing right now, and I can certainly imagine what Tibbs's reasons are for that as well. When he has three guards that are playing very high level defense, and I'm going to throw JB in there as well because this has been the best defensive year for Jalen Brunson that I've seen in his career going back to Dallas. Cameron Payne has been one of our most steady, consistent defenders at the point of attack this season, and then Deuce is Deuce. Deuces are
Yeah.
he's the wrench. So I understand why should I sacrifice defense for offense when I have JB and Karl Anthony Towns on the floor. It's 1 point, two MVP candidates on NBA.com's ladder. I get it. But this offense and Tom Thibodeau's methodology of allowing the players themselves to read and react really calls for a table setter like Tyler Colwitt. And I think Colwitt can really thrive in this offense because you have so many guys that are so high level in catch and shoot opportunities and don't need the ball to dominate. Brunson actually is one of those guys. He started out that way in Dallas, playing alongside Luka Doncic, and they were able to get to the West Conference Finals with that dynamic. I think there will eventually come a time, two years down the line, not this season, but 2 years next, where we're going to see the culmination of this. Hopefully, Colwitt is still here. Him and JB are sharing a backcourt, and the offense looks more better and more unlocked than it ever has.
Yeah, and listen, we gonna need some wings too. We gonna need some wings because Shamet was not looking good today. I actually felt like at some point in the season he would get it together from the 3-point line. No, career 40% shooter from the 3-point line. He's kind of started off a little bit slow because of injury. So I figured, I was gonna give him more grace because he got injured. So when you get injured, it takes you a little bit more time to work your way back into the system. And he's had like a good week of shooting, and then he started to plummet once he got more minutes. So I'm a little bit concerned with that. But I'm also looking at the Knicks again. Comb Daddy is sitting in the wings. He's been set to the G League, but also don't look now, but we got another young bull in the G League. Turn it up. Knicks 56 pick. Kevin McCullough had 2 straight triple doubles in the G League. 23 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. That is a hell of a stat. And you know what? The G League is still the G League. It's not the NBA. So you want to go overhyped and think everything can translate. Because listen, we had Jacob Toppin give you 30 points, 10 rebounds, and he gets to the NBA. He's not giving you anything close to that. So it doesn't mean it's a guaranteed apples to apples comparison, but it's certainly definitely very promising knowing that we have him down there getting triple doubles back to back. And he's worked his way from injury. And I feel like he hasn't really been playing that much to be getting triple doubles this quickly. So it's definitely like an eyebrow raiser. And one of those things that make you go, type of moments like, maybe we have some big wings in the fold to kind of plug in since we just not that big playing Shamet at 6'5".
Excellent point. I definitely want to follow this train of thought here. When you're in the G League, the way I see it, and I was watching it back when I believe it was called the D League. I think it was the original.
Yeah. To me, meant
what
to
the
get
league
back
was
to
called.
Mm-hmm.
Been watching it a long time because as a Knicks fan, I was always preying on the promise of who was going to be developed because the roster at hand was like total ass. So I was always looking to like, man, how's Trevor Ariza playing? How's Big Boy Mike Sweetney playing? Those type of guys, right? Wilson Chandler. Two things that I've noticed that translate in the G League: not dunking, not running in transition, not rebounding. It's court vision translates to the NBA game and be having ice cold veins, blood in your veins to close games. Those are two things that Tyler Kolek has showed indefinitely in the G League. So yes, Moses Brown having 28 rebounds. He plays in the NBA. Maybe he has with the Knicks and in a lot of minutes 4. Okay, You think about the rate and the ratio, and it's not apples to apples to G League, the NBA. So you can see that. But Kolek, those two things have translated.
Yeah.
Kolek has been a dagger, an assassin in the G League, and he's also an unbelievable court vision, no matter who he's playing with, which is incredible. That's a really important intangible because it means as the roster evolves moving forward, Kolek will be able to play with just about anyone that he shares a court with. So that's very promising. On the other note, this season, two guys that I've been Hive, Muse, however you want to say it, fan club, Precious Achua and Landry Shamet, two guys that I've had some of my biggest tweets about. I thought at one point Shamet should be in the lineup. I looked at a dumbass for that. At one point, I thought I agree with y'all. Precious should be in the lineup. I looked at a dumbass for that. There's those two
Yeah, it is
guys
bad.
fit on other teams. I think Shamet could go to Boston and be what Hauser is for them. I think that Precious could go to Miami, back to Miami. I think he'd develop into a really nice small ball player. On the Knicks, they ain't it. They ain't cutting it. Both those guys need to be upgraded. It's not the player to me that's an issue. It's the importance of that role, and they are not filling that role. The rim protection, the rebounding, and the defense is not getting there from Precious at the 4 or the 5 now, and Shamet is just scared to shoot. He's not shooting. You need a gunner at that position. We saw success with it with Fournier on offensive side, Grimes, Devo, Reggie. We need that guy to be able to consistent 2 or 3 threes a night at a 40% clip to at least fill that role in the offense. And we're not getting it from either of them. My best case scenario, let's shout out Ebony, free as me. Let's have Batum Dadiak get that Shamet role and Ariel Hotporty get the Precious role.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see those expand as well. I feel like Ariel Hotporty should be really good for us next year. So unfortunate the way he went down this early after.
I know, man.
He started to get maybe like these backup center conversations might be, I don't know, might be a little bit different. Who knows?
And there are some times during the season when you watch other teams and other games, you'll see a guy become a spark, a guy that when he's on the court, he brings joy. And these guys who've been in the league for 8 or 9 years, all of a sudden they refine their joy, their love for the game because of the energy that guy's bringing. And a Hotporty was definitely assimilating that into this Knicks squad. And when he went down, you started seeing the vibe shift a little bit in terms of who was playing on the court. Minutes went up for everybody. The rim protection went down. You start overly depending on Mitch, and Mitch didn't have his legs back. That Hotporty injury was really important in the projection of how our season went. I thought it was going to be a Sitsney burger. I think if he would have stayed healthy, we might be close to that.
No, salute to the chat. Hold on, man. Hold on. Salute to the chat real quick, because y'all the nicknames, oh man. The nicknames were funny with you guys. I have to just shout out this comment, which is a great freaking nickname. All right. Shout out to the predicate who says, Tylenol put pressure on Cam tonight to play better. I enjoyed that. Tylenol is, oh, yeah, I love that nickname, man.
Pretty good.
That's pretty damn good.
It is.
Nick's giving you a headache. Need some relief? Put it in Tylenol.
That's a commercial.
That's a commercial. Ty, man. Call your boy up. We can get this bread. I'll get you a logo. ASAP Rocky. All right. Oh man. Woo. All right. Anything else you want to mention in this game? Like, I feel like it's like really the big guys that you really want to talk about. We talked about. It's really OG, McCall, Ty. Campaign actually did pretty good starting.
Yeah, I thought he did too.
Yeah.
And he's good for that. He's a vet. Different situations, different systems. He knows how to adapt. And his defense is always consistent.
Right. And he's not afraid of the moment too, because when that unit came in the game, and Campaign hit a 3 that kind of stopped the bleeding, and he wasn't scared to take the 3 either. And that's a big thing for players. I mean, and it's funny because he's very upsy downsy, but he's never scared of the moment. So it's like I'm glad he actually had the balls to take that 3, especially because he hit a couple of big ones, a couple of 3s in the first quarter. So I was happy to see him hit that, and it kind of started to grease the wheels for us offensively, take a little bit of pressure off us, and OG kind of took that momentum and did what he did.
My favorite two performances in tonight's game were OG and Mikal. Even though Kolek was brilliant, much love to the kid, but my favorites were Mikal and Mikal gave us a huge lead.
Yeah.
OG was the one that really fought back and refused to lose. OG it was very similar to how Hart was the last couple of seasons, where Hart's like, we ain't losing this game.
Yeah.
All the way to the basket, one man fast break. OG had that mentality tonight, and I loved it. Bridges, if this was a silo and only this was a one game that he did this, I would probably write it off to, oh, he's playing the G League Wizards. Really, many players on the court when they came back were G League players. They
Right.
will probably not be in the NBA 2 years henceforth. But tonight, this has been a piece of a puzzle, a season where as the season's gone on, he's really learned his role. He's taking advantage of the moments when Brunson's not there to be on ball and show, you know what? In the playoffs, we can go 5, 6 minutes, or maybe an extra 30, 45 seconds of rest for Brunson and run the offense through me with the bench guys and maybe even Cat, and we can maintain a lead. I like that. That's a very positive sign for me, not just this season, but going forward in the future.
Yeah. And you know what, too? It's a very positive sign. Very positive sign. Just looking at McCall's game, man. Sometimes when the game gets tight and we can't get something going, I just want him to go to I just want him to go to the fadeaway, man. Hit or miss it. Like, you're so damn good at it. I want you to go to that. And he shies away from it so much. And he seemed more loosey-goosey in the first half. And he was going to that fadeaway and it was working. Shoot, Jordan made it famous for a reason, man. You're really good at it. So where we can't get clean shots, because sometimes the defense, that's the thing about big stars and superstars. Sometimes when the defense is that good, you can't get clean shots. You got to get the ball to the guy who can make dirty shots. And I feel like that fadeaway is a dirty shot. And if he can hit that consistently while defended, then we need to go to it sometimes. And yeah, I like so I wish he went to it more. But like you are absolutely correctly. The Macau and OG 1-2 punch really helped us and saved the game for us, for sure.
I we're agreeing a lot tonight. Let's keep the good vibes going. With Mikal Bridges, I agree 100% because that's a part of a game is no longer being steamed for. It's no longer being replicated in practice. Oh, we're going up against a really good mid-range player every night of the week. So let's make sure our defense guarding the mid-range is tight and on a string. It's a rare shot. You got a handful of guys, maybe 10, 12 that are part of their arsenal, 4, 5 that are really good at it, 2, 3 that are elite. We happen to have maybe the best at this point. Now with DeMar Rosen's taking a step back, we might have the best mid-range player in the NBA. But at one point in time, in the 2000s, that's how superstars scored.
Yep.
Vince, Kobe, T-Mac, Iverson. That was their area. Even Duncan, Garnett, Dirk, they dominated in the mid-range until the evolution either put them in a block or out to the
Brunson.
perimeter. Right. That mid-range area, we can shock teams. There's a lot of players coming through the AAU circuit into 1 year at college and now in the NBA. They're not used to guarding the mid-range. They're not used to looking for it and expecting it to be a part in their defensive assignment. They're guarding the pick and roll. They're hedging for the paint or the perimeter, not the mid-range. So use it to your advantage because it's not steamed for and it's not expected. It's one of the few things that aren't expected in this Knicks offense. So you might as well use it and abuse it.
I agree. Use it and abuse it. Salute to the chat. I see my girl Ebony in the chat. Yeah. Shout out to Ebony and the fam. I know she missed the game. We're glad to see you here. Rocking with the KOT show in the comments. I see you. Also, shout out to everybody else too. Shout out to Darash, Press the Boss, the Predicate, Stanley Nowak. Who else is in here? I already shouted out Ebony. Agent Super Argo Fritz, the best mod in the game. JT Reddick is here as well. We already said hello to the legendary Chuck D. Also, Sandman, who's here faithfully, saying fire tips. Still appreciate you supporting the show. OG Knicks, S. Parker. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. We definitely appreciate. Oh man, I shout out to TikTok. I gotta remember to give TikTok love, man. Sorry TikTok. I've been kind of been slacking on you guys, but shout out to TikTok guys as well. All right. Okay. Anything else you want to mention?
I did want to mention one thing because this game, like I said, it was the first time where that Green Goblin mask was really staring at me, and I was like, am I going over to the dark side? Thankfully, OG and Anunoby saved this tonight, but Tom Thibodeau's rotations, man, they're still scary. Being a third seed in the NBA and almost losing a 30-point lead to the Washington Wizards. After you lost to the Charlotte Bobcats, it's like, damn, man, the firing Tibbs, this is the loudest I've seen firing Tibbs on Twitter, on YouTube, in the comments, on other shows. It's getting pretty loud. And I said preseason, I think this is a season, this postseason is really it's going to be do or die for Tibbs. And if you fire in midseason, the Rick Brunson effect, nobody wants that, right? So it's going to happen this summer. And I started thinking about it. Okay, all right, let's say he's fired. Let's say after we lose game 7 to Boston or Cleveland, we can him. All right, then what? Let's look at the history under modernity, 21st century, 2000 and now. What's taken place? What would it look like if we fired Tibbs? Who has won championships? How did they win? When was the coach hired? And it can kind of be broken down into 3 tiers. The first tier are the teams that won a lot of championships with the same coach over the course of 25 years. I think the Lakers with Phil Jackson, the Spurs with Greg Popovich, the Heat with Eric Spoelstra, the Warriors with Steve Kerr. All those teams that were together for a very long time. Some of them, it took the time for the team to develop into a contender. Pop wasn't a contender right away. It took about 6 years under his tutelage. Phil Jackson won this year 2 with the Lakers, but damn it, you got Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
Who just came from 6th championship to the Bulls. These are anomalies, right? And I'm saying this for a reason. Spoelstra, the Heatles. You had 3 of the best players in NBA history, 2 that could be considered top 15, 1 that could be considered the best ever. So, and the Warriors, Steph Curry, unbelievable. The second group is guys who came in and won the first year they were hired. All of these guys that won their first year. So let's say that we decide to hire an assistant. Let's say I've heard Chris Quinn from Miami. Let's say we hire Chris Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
How many times in the last 25 years has a first-time head coach came into a system and went off the bat? It's only happened a couple of times. And every single time, without fail, a major trade has accompanied that hiring. So you think about Nick Nurse, first year. Oh, now we got Kawhi Leonard instead of DeMar Rosen. You think about Golden State. Oh, we just completed the Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry combination. You think about who's the other one that I had? Mavs. And I'm sorry, not the Mavs, the Celtics. Doc took a while, but that was the first year he had KG and Ray Allen.
Right.
The Celtics, they had to get KP and Drew Holiday. So a major trade combined with a major hiring, those 2 things came side by side. It's very rare you had a team that was together for 4 or 5 years. You fire the head coach, you hire a new one, and then they win. That almost never happens. If you look at the last 15, 14 teams that won championships in the 21st century, very rare that where the Knicks are headed, it was going to end up in a chip. The actual more likely scenario is we win it under Tibbs, that we keep a coach, Mike Malone style, right? Or Steve Kerr style, or Mike Budenholzer style. We keep it for a period of time. We experience ups and downs. Rick Carlisle's another one. And then finally, he reaches to the promised land. I know people are clamoring for a firing, but if you look at history, and history, reality is important in judging and making decision making. And I know Leon's thinking about this too. What instances are there where a coach who's been there for 4, 5, 6 years is fired, you hire an assistant, and you win a championship? Very rarely, unless a major trade happens that coincides with that. And those trades are pieces that are very good players. I'm talking about Ray Allen. I'm talking about Kevin Garnett. I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard. Seriously good players. LeBron James in Cleveland for Ty Lue's first year. That context is very important to consider. And then one more thing, I'll land the plane. I've also heard college coaches. Do you know that in the 21st century, not only has a college coach never went directly from college to the NBA and won a championship, in the 21st century, a college coach has also never went from college to the NBA and made the finals, ever, in the last 25 years. Someone who would only have college experience. Because I've heard, let's bring back the Villanova guy, Jay Wright.
Right.
Okay, Jay Wright. What's the history
going.
for that?
Yeah.
Hasn't even made the finals, much less a championship. A college coach has never went to the college, to the NBA, in the history of NBA, and won a championship. Never effing happened. So think about that. You're expecting the Knicks to be the first in NBA history. That's not really the history of a Knicks, period, to do those type of things under James Dolan. So just be cautious and coherent when you're making these judgments. And yes, firing Tibbs in fantasy land sounds good because you don't have his bum ass on the sidelines with a little comb over and the grouchy scowl, making bad rotations and bad minute production. But think about history. What's a likelihood of firing him and hiring someone. And I think try to marry yourself to what Leon Rhodes' thinking is to have the highest percentage chance to actually win based on the type of move that you make. To me, it's going after a really good assistant that has comes from a great team somewhere else.
You said a lot. You said a lot. You said a lot. You said a lot. Um, yeah, good work just going through the history of the NBA and the breakdowns. Um, I feel like the way this team was constructed originally with the head coaches and the assistant coaches. Like we had Mike Woodson, we had Johnny Bryant, we had what's the coach that Randall really loved that left us early?
Oh, Kenny Payne.
Kenny Payne. We had Kenny Payne. Uh I felt like the original coaches were supposed to be kind of fail safes. Mike
Mhm.
Woodson.
Yes.
And then slowly over time, it's just one by one gone, 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 gone.
Yes.
So like the fail saves are now we kind of just left with Brunson now, which makes everything like Lee said a lot scarier if
Mhm.
we decide to pivot because just having Jalen Brunson's dad be the head coach just sounds like a bad idea in general.
Yes.
Optic
I would make
wise with the team is
I would make the argument that keeping Tibbs, and if you're looking at history, keeping Tibbs is as risky as firing him. I would say they hold equal risk because you're either going after a carousel coach who's been in and out of the league, a Monty Williams or a Frank Vogel or a Mike D'Antoni, all that come with major baggage and a failed playoff history, or you're going after an unproven person who has been a part of one system and only known one thing or maybe two things, and they're bringing that culture over to Knicks. And sometimes it doesn't fit, not just with the whole team, maybe one specific player it doesn't jive with. Maybe it's Cat, or maybe it's Brunson, or maybe it's Bridges that doesn't fit with that style or that coach. The one thing you have right now is continuity. You have guys that are playing for their coach. I've seen the energy laps a little bit recently, know his system, and are running his system pretty well. Enough for, damn it, the third seed in the Eastern Conference. So I'm just saying, I've always think about mitigating risk. And the risk is if you fire Tibbs, it's very unproven and history is against you. If you keep him, the flaws are evident. They're loud, they're bright. But the one thing that we do have to our advantage right now, it's never been more parity in NBA than there is right now. There's no super team out there. And a lot of the teams I mentioned that won championships were super teams. Spurs, Lakers, Miami Heat, Golden State Warriors, even the Cavs to some extent. Right now, we've seen a different team win for the last 5 years. That's an advantage to the Knicks. But a lot of those teams had guys that have been there for a very long time. Nuggets with Mike Malone, Warriors with Steve Kerr, Celtics, Joe Mazzulla was a longtime assistant. The Bucks with Budenholzer, 3, 4 years prior. Something to think about.
yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, something to think about. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's something to think about. Like I'm with you. Like my hope is that he just gets it freaking together.
Me too.
That's my real hope because
Mm.
even the dynamic with Brunson, right? Just imagine Jalen Brunson is still the guy. So with Tibbs gone, does Rick Brunson stay? Like, what's that dynamic like? Then
Question.
does that make Jalen Brunson less comfortable because his father is going with the coaching staff? Like, does that change it? Like, and is it not to say that Tibbs doesn't deserve criticism or doesn't even deserve to have the thought of like he's underperforming? Because like you got to ask these questions in the NBA. Like, are you maximizing your potential of this team? So it's like I feel like it's a fair question to ask.
The
But
best case scenario would have been if Johnny Bryant would have never left. And then we would have let Tibbs go up to the front office and elevate Johnny Bryant because then you maintain that continuity. Someone who's aware of the system that preceded him and then can improve upon it. Now you're going to bring in someone who's going to have a whole new system, a whole new set of assistant coaches. And you made a great point. What happens to Rick Brunson? Jalen signed here. One of the reasons was because his father was an assistant coach. Do you keep him as this like it's almost unfair to fire everyone else, all the other
right,
bum Tibbs interns that have been with him for years, but you keep Rich, it doesn't look good. The optics are bad on that. So Leon has some tough choices. He should never let Johnny Bryant go.
Definitely has some tough choices. It's like, and do you bring? I don't know. Do you bring in like? Cause I saw Ebony mentioned like JJ Redick, a guy who you can tell by like the way you watch his podcast. He's very extremely bright, and he's doing a good job with the Lakers. Like, do you bring in like an NBA player who might command respect quickly, but like maybe he's doing some coaching in the G League or on the bench, or maybe you go that route? Because I mean, that seems to translate well sometimes. Like with the Warriors, with Steve Kerr, with like that. Of course, they still have freaking Stephen Curry, but I don't know. Maybe I feel like you mentioned Sam Cassell before. Sam Cassell's always been a smart guy.
Yeah.
Who's been he's not it won't be his first round being a coach because he's been around the league doing the due diligence in the trenches. So maybe that's a fresh face. I don't know.
And if memory serves correct, I think he shared the assistant coach role with Tibbs under Doc Rivers in Boston. If memory serves correct, I believe both Cassell and Tibbs were on the bench for that team. So there is a familiarity there with Tibbs' system. And now he's with Jeff Van Gundy and Tyler Lue with the Clippers. So yeah, there's some, or maybe he's in Boston. I can't remember, but he was with the Clippers at one point. So there's continuity there. I like the assistant route, because no NCAA coach has ever won a championship in the NBA. So are we gonna be a team that butts history? History would say no. History would argue back with us over that. But yeah, there's definitely some major questions and tough decision making that's going to have to happen. Yeah. It's easy to say fire Tibbs. It's harder to figure out what's next.
Yeah, Tibbs, man, just do your thing in the playoffs, and we don't have to have these conversations, man. Do your thing in the playoffs, man. And players too. Players gotta do your things in the playoffs as well. You gotta make your coach look good. All right. Whew. All right, yo. I have nothing else to talk about. We can get to ooh picks and bruh picks. Do you have any ooh picks and bruh picks? And for those guys who don't know, because I see 70 people in the chat. Shout out to the chat. So I'm not sure who's new, who's not. So I'm gonna break down what these are. So bruh picks are usually something stupid, dumb, idiotic that happens that you want to point out and say is stupid, dumb, and idiotic. It could be a basketball play. It could be just something that happened in general. It could be a bad take. It could be a current event. We call those bruh picks. All right, here at the KOT show. And ooh picks, something you want to point out that says, that was nice. I enjoyed that. That can be, and that's strictly basketball for us. So, Lee, I don't know, do you have any oohs or bruh picks that you want to point out?
Yeah, I have one ooh pick. Again, I've had the great honor of going with my dad every year to the UIL tournament since 2004, only missed twice. And we've seen some great players. And there was one great player who was the face and the best part of the Faith Family Academy program, which is a charter school in South Dallas, one of Dallas's poorest neighborhoods, and it's kind of a shining star of that neighborhood because of the basketball program winning 3 state titles in a 5-year span. And the best player to come out of there, his name is JT Toppin, no relation to Obi and Jericho. What's his name? Jacob Toppin.
Jacob, yeah.
He's playing right now for Texas Tech, who won tonight. Texas Tech won their game against Drake, and Toppin went off for 25 points and 12 rebounds. Beast, 6'9", athletic, defensive-minded forward. Might be able to someone we could trade into the late first round to take. Most mock drafts have him going somewhere between 25 and 32. I think this performance in the tournament might boost him somewhere in the teens. But I do want to give a shout out to DFW area that I have long argued is a mecca of high school basketball. Cade, Ron Holland, Marcus Sasser. So I'm very happy to see another one do very well in this college tournament.
Okay. Ooh, pick for that. For sure. I'm gonna give a bruh pick to Dylan Brooks. Just because Dylan Brooks was playing Miami, talking to a fan, trash talking to a fan, as he's running backwards on the court and happens to fall down. And I just felt like, bro, play the game. Don't. It's like, Like, he lucky he didn't get injured falling down backwards after he's trash talking the fan. It was a little embarrassing, a little shocking and foolish. But here in Killer T, we call that a bruh. So, bruh pick for you. All right?
Bruh.
Simple, bruh. All right. Oh, I see you, Felicia. Rest in peace to one of the greats, George Foreman, who passed away recently. Legendary boxer. Also businessman too. Really pushed the Foreman Grill. I remember watching Foreman Grill commercials all the time. So yeah, just salute to one of the great boxers of our time, George Foreman. Rest in peace. All right. All right. We can end the show, but before we do, shout out to everybody who came in a little bit late, who's rocking with us, all 65 of you. Okay, if you like the show, hit the like, subscribe. We're here after every game, talking that Knicks basketball talk. Also, shout out to Lee, who gave that beautiful breakdown of the coaching and the coaching changes and what they were, and like what percentage of coaches who came from the college, the NBA has won the championship. Great job breaking all that down, Lee, for sure.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
But shout out to you guys. Shout out to Kara Wins. I don't think I've seen you before. Shout out to you, Kara Wins. Shout out to Nostalgia Nick. Shout out to Glamour, who's always rocking with us. Shout out to you as well. Shout out to Heem Dream. Have I seen you before? Have I seen Heem Dream? I don't think I've seen Heem Dream before either. Shout out to you. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. All right. That's the show. Dennis Anya.
Hell yeah.
He says, let Tyler Creator cook. Let it cook. Let him cook. All right. All right, yo. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Lee, let them know where they can find you, bro.
At Twitter, _ Lee Escobedo, LeeEscobedo. I see you, D-Ross. I'm sorry you're still blocked on that channel. It was neither of our doing. We'll try to look into that. I have no idea how to
D-Ross is still blocked? That's crazy,
yeah.
yo. I don't.
He's hilarious in the chat right now on his burner. I had no idea how that happened, but we love you, brother. It wasn't on purpose. I promise you that.
That's crazy. I don't think I ever blocked anybody on this channel.
I didn't know you could,
but not blocked. All right. Any book recommendations or anything?
Yeah, I'm reading a great one right now, but I was going to wait until I completely finish it in order to promote it on the show. I haven't finished it yet, but
okay.
I'll use this short time. What's up, Kara Wins? Another Dallasite Knit fan. We're going to be linking up at the Mavs Knits game with a couple other Dallas-based Knit fans Tuesday.
That's Tuesday. That's what's up.
It's a new place called Cosmo where you can. It's a huge amplified dome where it almost feels like you're live there at the game. So that should be pretty cool. We're gonna be watching it there together.
That's what's up. Enjoy the game. I mean, Lee, I'm not sure you should actually go.
I am bad luck. You're absolutely right. Yes. I have been live and direct for some of the most embarrassing losses in the last 5 years with the Mavs and Knicks. You're absolutely right.
But maybe next time you go and Philip Knicks fan, so maybe some good juju will join you this time because you by yourself, man. I don't know. What are you 0-3 every time you in Dallas? 0-3,
bro. I think over the last year it's got to be like 20-1, man, or 20-2.
Oh
overall.
Man, woo!
Since 2005. Yeah.
Woo! Since 2005. Oh my. Oh.
Yeah, I know, man.
Oh, okay. That was Dirk Nowitzki.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I can see. I can see how that can happen. Yeah, the Dirk Nowitzki era into the Luka era into the
the Dirk Nowitzki era was an Eddie Curry era for us.
Oh yeah. Two totally different eras going in two totally different directions.
Hey, we got a super chat.
Oh, hold up. $9.99 super chat. Shout out to JT Riddick, aka Training in My Head. Who's also a wrestler. I always like to say that because you don't meet just people who just be wrestling. But he's a wrestler. He says, all 82, always salute. Shout out to you. Appreciate you, my guy JT Riddick. Okay. Darass, man, we gotta work on you getting unblocked. That's crazy. I don't know who did it. Who got a vendetta, but I figure what the hell's happening there. Okay, that's the show. You can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Nick of Time Show on Facebook as well. We also on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Right? That is the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to YouTube land. Shout out to TikTok land. We'll be back Tuesday. Knicks Mavs. And as always,
shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks YouTube streets and TikTok streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.